Caitlyn, how you doing? All right, thank you so much. So I think one of the things that we need to address here is what you've learned through this process so far. And I think that I can probably, with a high degree of confidence, say that you've learned how to choose a background image for an advertising campaign that entails a magazine ad as well as a banner ad. And the reason I say that is because you're kind of stuck here, right? Because this is the image that you have chosen to use. I would say that probably at this point, if you were to start this project over, you would probably choose a different image, one that is a little bit more versatile in cropping. And I think that's something that's really interesting and something that kind of you allude to right here when you say I decided to use part of my magazine because it was less busy and it made the text easier to read. So you're kind of saying that you were forced into using this specific area of the image because it will suffice text. It may not, but you might be sacrificing some visual engagement, as right now it's a little unusual to have this kind of perspective where you're looking down on a beach instead of out on the water. Did you see what I'm saying? So I'll be honest with you, I think a lot of, at this point, and I teach this class quite often, but I think that a lot of students at this point, when they get into the banner ad, they realize that, hey man, I wonder if I can't use a better background image. And quite often students change the background image at this point in the campaign. And if you want to do that, that's perfectly fine. It's not required at all. It's really, if you think you can find a more versatile image, that's great. But like I said, this perspective right here is just a little unusual as it's cropped out alone. Because we're kind of looking down at the surf. So we're looking down at the surf, as I said, instead of looking out at the horizon. So that said, I mean, you're showing technical proficiency, and that's fantastic. I do have a couple of comments on layout. Let's start with the magazine ad. Now, supposing you do keep this background image, and you can work with it. I think it's definitely able to work with. A couple of things I would recommend is this. Let's go ahead and take this headline and center it right down here. Watch my cursor right here. It'll entail reduce the size of that. And again, watch my cursor, something like this for the headline, Experience Paradise. And then book 2 nights right underneath it, centered. Okay, so maybe even a little bit, so something like this. Okay, so there's your headline, and then underneath is your subhead centered. Okay, then we take this box of text right here and place it right up here. Okay, so just kind of rearranging a little bit. Then at that point, what I would do is I would take the glasses, place them right over here above the logo somewhere, and then you can take the contact information and then just kind of stack it right there. And I think that'll really improve some balance and some page mechanics issues. Right now, I think that this is really heavily balanced to the left side. And the reason being is that you've got the visual weight of this big, heavy, giant kind of rock formation here. And then you've also got this, so that's creating a lot of visual weight right there that's kind of pulling the composition to the left a little bit in imbalance. Then you've got left aligned type that is further pulling it to that side. Now you countered it quite nicely, placing the logo here and the text, but I think by bringing this down and centering it, it's going to equalize the weight distribution of the composition, and then placing this type up here, I think is going to further create an equilibrium in the visual balance of the magazine ad. Okay, off to the banner ad. Banner ad, I think, is the same thing. I think you got a really good job, good start here, but I think, again, we have some issues with balance. So my recommendation here would be this. The logo's a little too big. So let's reduce the size of the logo. Take everything right here, and then you can take those glasses and place them above the logo again. Just try to keep them a little bit away from the logo. You don't want them sitting right on top of the logo. Or, and I think about maybe even placing the glasses. I don't know, just think about where you want to place those glasses, because I want to use this area. What I want to do here at this point is take all of this type right here and just right align it. Right along here, right align it. So you have Experience Paradise, then you have to reduce the subhead, right align that. So here's your headline, okay? Then here's your subhead, and then here's your body copy, all right aligned, okay? You've got St. Thomas in your description, so that's great. Don't need to do anything there. But try that. I think that is going to improve the balance associated with the piece and definitely redistribute the weight. So think about that. If you want to change the image, you're more than welcome. If you don't, you're certainly not required, but more than welcome to if you want to. Okay, great. If you have any questions at all, please let me know, Caitlin. I'll be glad to make any necessary clarifications. Thank you very much.